Finding an easy seat, or I suppose you can lay on your back if you'd like, John. We'll start by finding our breath. So settling into our bodies, sitting up straight from our sits bones, bringing some length into the spine. Closing your eyes, just noticing your breath. And eventually bringing that breath in even deeper, filling up the lungs, letting the belly expand, and then exhaling it out fully. As you continue to breathe deeply, take a little body scan. Notice any places where you are holding any tension. Bring your breath to that space, fill it up, and let the tension go. Continuing to inhale deeply, filling the lungs. On your exhale, pull your belly to spine, like really squeezing all that air out. Relaxing your face, relaxing your neck, relaxing your shoulders. Let's take 2 more rounds of deep breath. After your second exhale, open your eyes. Bring your hands to your knees. Still the straight spine. We'll start bringing some movement into our hips and spine. We're just start rotating out of the hips. Maybe bringing that movement even deeper as you loosen up. Let's switch directions. And come to center. Let's bring our hands down and our knees up. Feet kind of maybe hip width apart. Let's just start windshield wipering the knees. Let's take a few more. Letting the knees fall to the left. Kind of tuck that right foot back by your right glute, bring the left foot to the right leg. Left foot does it. So sitting up straight, you might not find your sits bones in this position quite flatly, but and let's go ahead and take a twist to our left. So twisting from the hips and then through the spine and through the shoulders. I'll take 3 more rounds of breath here. Still breathing deeply, exhaling fully. After your third exhale, coming back forward. Okay, let's extend that left foot straight, keeping the right leg bent. Just get a nice stretch through the right hamstring, or quad, sorry. So just stay here if this is enough. You're feeling a nice stretch through that bent leg, or you can walk your hands back a little bit if you're feeling loose already. And if you want more, you can come down to your elbows. And you can even come down to your back if that's available to you. This is early in the practice. You might not be opened up enough yet, but deep breaths, bringing that breath into that right bent leg, really filling it up, letting it expand and loosen. When you're ready, slowly bring yourself back up. Kind of rolling over to the left a little bit to release that leg and bring it out straight, gently, and give your legs a little shake. Let's bring the knees back up. And we'll windshield wiper again. Letting the legs fall to the right. Taking that same position, so left leg comes back. Right foot to left thigh. Taking a deep inhale. On the exhale, we'll turn to the right. Turning from the hips first, and then through the spine. And then the head can come back. One more deep inhale and full exhale. Then come back to center. Extending the right leg forward. Keeping the left leg bent and leaning back. On your hands or your elbows. Coming back to that breath. Take one more deep inhale here. And exhale. And slowly come back up. Gently bring that leg out in front and giving them a shake. Coming back to cross-legged. We're just gonna fold forward from the hips, bring the hands down to the floor or the mat. Hinging forward, and then when you come to your edge, letting the head drop. We'll take 3 rounds of breath here. On an inhale, coming back up. Let's switch the legs. Switch the way your legs are crossed. And let's do that again. Feel your breath filling up your lower back. All your organs a nice little massage. And on your next inhale, slowly coming back up to seated. And we're going to come on to all fours and tabletop. So wrists are right under your shoulders, knees are right under your hips. Just take a moment here to move around fluidly, getting settled into your mat. Give your head a shake, let it dangle. And then coming back to stillness, we'll do 3 rounds of cat-cow. So on an inhale, we're letting our belly drop, head and tailbone raise. Exhaling, arching the back, pulling belly to spine, pushing down through the mat. Inhaling, belly drops. Exhaling, belly to spine. Let's do one more. And coming back to center. Let's extend the right foot back. And let's bring the left hand forward. Trying to square those hips, belly to spine, balance and strength. Let's plant the hand, leaving the foot up. We're going to cross that foot across our body, set it down on our left side, to the left side of our body. And then look back at it. So you should be getting a nice side stretch through the right side. Two more deep breaths here. And then bring that foot back up and planting the knee down. Let's take that on the other side. So left foot extends, right hand extends. Hips are square, bellies to spine. Deep breaths. Planting the hand down, leaving the foot up, you're going to cross it over and set it down to the right side of your body, and then turn back and look at it, bringing a nice stretch into your left side. Really breathing into that stretch. And coming back to center, bringing that knee back down to the mat. Let's bring the knees wide, toes touch, and we'll sink back into a child's pose for 3 rounds of breath. After your 3rd breath, we're going to walk the hands to the right, staying in child's pose, walking the arms to the right. One more deep breath in and out. And then walking the hands through center and then off to the left. And then walking the hands back through center. So we're going to shift forward and we're going to come down to our bellies. Flat on the mat. Take a moment here just to enjoy feeling supported on the earth. Maybe wiggle your hips around a little bit. Let's bring our hands under our shoulders. We're going to take a few cobras. So on an inhale, we lift the head and upper back. On an exhale, bringing it back down. Inhaling up, using the strength of your back, not the hands. Exhaling back down. Do one more. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. And we'll do a 4th. You can come up into a cobra if you're ready. You can push up into upward facing dog. Really open up the chest and the front body. And then release down. And then pushing back up through tabletop. We're going to tuck our toes and come into our first downward dog. So on an exhale, lifting the hips up and back. Pulling the heels towards the mat. Coming back to the breath. And we're going to hang out here for a little bit. So take any movement that might feel good. You can wag your tail back and forth. You can bend one knee, pressing through the other leg, and then switch. Stretching through those calves. And then taking your gaze between your hands, we're going to step the right foot forward in between the hands, and we're going to bring the left knee down to the mat. So we're in our low lunge. So taking a few breaths here. You can stay with your hands on the mat. You can come up and rest them on your knee. Or if you'd like to take the full expression, you can bring your arms up overhead. If you're ready, you can take a little back bend here. Exhaling the hands back down to the mat. Planting the left hand in the mat, we're going to twist, bring the right arm up. So really pressing into the mat, really reaching with the right hand towards the ceiling. And bringing that hand back down. And this is available to you. We're going to bend the left leg and reach back, grabbing the ankle or the foot. If that's not available, just bend the leg and keep your hands on the mat. You'll still get a nice deep stretch there. Okay, releasing that foot back down, planting the hands. We're going to step back into down dog. So we're going to bring that right foot back again. And take a couple rounds of breath. And taking your gaze between your hands again, we're going to step the left foot up, bring the right knee down, flatten out the foot so we're on the top of the foot, the back foot. And again, rising up, hands to knees or arms overhead. Feeling a nice stretch in that right hip flexor as we push forward. Planting the hands back down. We'll plant the right hand down, lift the left arm up. Really pushing out of the mat and reaching up at the same time, finding that length through your arms and chest. Bring that hand back down. We'll bend that right leg. You can just bend it, or if it's available to you, you can reach back. Taking the ankle or the foot. Let's take one more deep breath here. Gently releasing that foot, planting the hands, and coming back to down dog. Let's walk the hands back towards our feet. We're going to lift halfway, finding length in the spine, and an exhale, folding forward. Taking ragdoll, so grabbing your elbows if you'd like, dangling. Head hangs heavy. You can sway back and forth. Or just hang in stillness. One more deep breath here. Letting the hands drop. We're going to roll up to standing. So just taking it slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Rolling up, coming up through the shoulders, lifting them up towards our ears, and then back and down. And we'll take a couple breaths here in Tadasana. From here, we're going to step into Warrior One. So let's bring the left foot forward. Turning that right foot out, like a 45 degree angle on your mat. Sinking down into that front leg, bending the knee. Squaring the hips. Arms come up. Back baby toes, pushing back and down into the mat. And on an exhale, let's come to Warrior Two. So opening this up. Hips open, arms open, gazing out over those left fingertips. Looping that front hand, the front palm up. We're going to reverse our warrior. Taking 2 breaths here. And coming back to warrior two. Let's hinge forward, bringing that left elbow to left knee, opening the hips up. Right arm extends to the ceiling, or you can bring it overhead, extending it towards the front wall. Inhaling back up to warrior two. Straightening that front leg. Let's turn the feet forward. Hands come to hips. And we'll take a bend halfway down. Take a big inhale here. And exhaling all the way down. Hands can rest under your face on the mat, or you can stretch them, reach them back between your legs, planting them on the floor. Bringing the hands back under your face, lifting halfway up. Inhaling, bring your hands to hips and coming all the way up. I'm just going to switch directions on my mat, so if that works for you, we're going to take the warrior series on the other side. So the right foot is forward, left foot is back. We're sinking into that front knee. Find your stance where your hips can be squared forward. You might need to bring that back foot up a little bit. Arms come overhead. That left baby toe is planted down into the mat behind you. Coming up straight through the spine, we're going to come into warrior two. Gazing out over the right fingertips. Take a look at your right knee. Make sure you can see your right big toe on the inside so your knee isn't caving in. Leg is strong and steady. Flipping that palm up, we're going to reverse our warrior. On an inhale, coming back up, warrior two. Hinging forward, bringing right elbow to right knee, reaching with the left arm up. Or if you'd like to extend it overhead towards that wall in front of you. One more deep breath here. And coming up back through warrior two, we're going to straighten the front leg, turn the toes in again, and hands to hips. Inhaling deeply, exhaling halfway down, inhaling again, exhaling all the way down. This time taking your big toes with your peace fingers, and then letting your head drop. So you're pulling somewhat actively with your fingers to pull yourself down even more. Come back to the breath. Maybe give your head a little shake again. Releasing any tension that may have creeped back in. All right, releasing those toes, bring the hands under your face. And let's rise back up. And we'll step our feet back together. So coming to the bottom of your mat again, face forward. This time we're going to step into pyramid pose. So just stepping that left foot forward, maybe 1.5 feet from the or whatever your stance, your comfort level is with your stance. So we're going to bring hands to hips, inhaling deeply, exhaling again just halfway down. Find some length in your spine here, inhaling and exhaling all the way down. It's a good place for blocks if you have them. Pushing back through that right heel, trying to bring some of this effort into the right leg as well as the left. Let's bring the left hand to the inside of the left foot, either on a block or on the mat, and we're going to come into a twist. So if you'd like, you could just bring your hand to your hip here. Find your twist, kind of opening up the chest more if you can. And then if you'd like, you can extend that right arm up. Pretend that you're pushing that, trying to push the wall behind you with the back of your right hand. So you're really opening up that shoulder, opening up the chest. And release gently. Bringing the hands on either side of that left foot again. And we're going to just step that right foot to meet the left. And we're going to rise up. Arms reach up. A little back bend. Bringing the hands through heart center. And down to our sides. Let's take a couple breaths in Tadasana. Even in Tadasana, we still have muscle energy going. Belly's pulled to spine. Tailbone is tucked. Legs are engaged. Okay, we're going to step back. We're going to step back this time with the left foot. Into pyramid on the other side. Hands come to hips. Taking a deep in-breath, exhaling halfway down. Inhaling, bringing even more length into the spine, exhaling all the way down. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And then releasing up a little bit, we're going to bring that right hand to the inside of the right foot. It's a great place for a block again. And again, we're going to twist open to the left so the hand can come to the hip. Trying to open up that chest, shining your heart towards the wall. And if you'd like, you can extend the left arm up. Pushing the back of the hand back. Finding even more space. One more breath. And releasing that hand back down to the mat. Bringing the hands to either side of the right foot. Gently bending into that knee and bringing the left foot up to meet. And again, with a flat back, we're going to rise up. Arms come up. Reach overhead. Hands come together through heart center and down to our sides. So we're going to come into chair pose. So bringing the toes together if you can. You can have a little bit of space in there if you need to keep our balance. So we're going to bring our arms up overhead and sink back. Thighs are together. Tail is tucked. Weight is in the heels. You should be able to lift your 10 toes and wiggle them around. And plant them back down. Let's sink more into skier's pose. So we're going to sink even further down, arms come out in front of us. Hold that for a breath. Bringing the hands into heart center. We're going to take our left elbow to right knee, twist. Pressing the palms of those hands together. You want to feel the energy there. It's going to help you get it further into your twist. If you'd like to open your arms, you can, or you can stay here. So if you want to reach the right arm up, that's available. And release back to skier's pose. And forward fold. Till here your feet to hip width distance. Sorry. And again, with our peace fingers, we're going to grab our big toes, taking a big inhale halfway up, exhaling, forward fold. Knees can be slightly bent. Taking deep breaths. And releasing the toes. Walking the feet back together. Let's rise up, flat back. Arms extend overhead. Hands through heart center. And down to our sides. All right. Again, we're going to come into chair pose. So sinking down, arms rise up. Our tailbone, after we come into our little bend here, you want to make sure your tailbone is tucked. Belly is still active, pulled to spine. Weights in our heels. Let's come down to skiers. Arms extend forward. Let's bring them to heart center. Twisting to the other side. Right elbow, left knee. Two more deep rounds of breath here. Releasing the arms forward, again keeping our squat or skier's pose. And releasing to a forward fold. Bringing the feet out again to hip width. Going to bring out the palms of our hands under our feet. So the backs of our hands are on the mat, palms, the feet are on the palms. So letting your head hang. Play around with this. You can rock back and forth. And eventually trying to bring the weight into the tops of the feet. Maybe even bringing your heels up off the mat. You can practice by doing one at a time. It's not anything I've ever mastered, so. And gently releasing the hands. And rising up, flat back. Arms overhead. Bring the hands through heart center. And down to Tadasana. Take 2 rounds of breath here. Okay, so we're going to come into a balanced pose. So go ahead and bring your weight into your right foot. And just kind of maybe lift that left leg up a little, maybe turn through the ankle. And gently bend that leg and reach back and try to grab the ankle of your left foot. Right arm comes overhead. So we're coming into dancer's pose. This may be enough. Or if you'd like to challenge your balance a little more, you can hinge forward, reaching that left arm forward, pushing pushing the left foot into the left hand. Really keeping an energetic bind there. If you're hinged forward, slowly bringing it back up, trying to hold onto that foot. Gently releasing the foot and bringing the leg up, arms overhead, and releasing everything down. And shake that out if you like. We'll come to the other side. So bringing the weight into the left foot. Lifting the right foot, maybe turning through the ankle. Just kind of getting used to this balance. Gently bending through that knee, grabbing the ankle behind. Right arm or left arm extends up. Finding your drishti, your focal point. And you can stay here or you could hinge. As you hinge, really pushing that right foot into the right hand into the right foot, and reaching out through the left arm. And coming back up, releasing that foot and see if you can bring that knee up in front, crane pose, and releasing it all down. And I think that's it for the standing poses. Let's come down to our mats. All right, we're going to come down to our backs. Bringing the heels of your feet towards your buttocks. And we'll take some bridges. Palms of your hands are flat on the mat. Taking a deep inhale, exhaling, pushing up through the hips, pushing out of the mat through the heels. Let's take a couple breaths here. And slowly releasing back down, one vertebrae at a time. Taking a breath here, and let's bring it back up. So pushing back up through the heels, through the hips. Go ahead and see if you'd like, you can clasp your hands underneath your back, kind of walk your shoulder blades in, creating even more of a back bend here. Releasing the hands, walking the shoulder blades out, and then coming back down, one vertebrae at a time. Taking a deep inhale, deep exhale here. We're going to take one more. So inhaling deeply, exhaling back up, pushing up through the heels, through the hips. Taking any variation that you want, hands clasped or not. Let's take two more deep breaths here. Releasing the hands if they're in a bind. And slowly rolling back down. Walking the feet to the edges of the mat, letting the knees fall in, resting on each other. Just taking a couple breaths here. Kind of a spinal reset. And then bringing the knees apart, walking the feet in. Bring the soles of the feet together, letting the knees fall apart. So, Supta Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. Bring the knees back up, feet are flat on the mat. Let's bring our right leg up, straight up towards the ceiling. If you have a strap, you can use a strap here, but you don't need to have one. So just gently grab the back of your leg and gently pull it towards your chest, towards your face. Left leg can extend or stay bent. Either way is fine. Flexing that foot, pulling those toes down towards your face. Taking some nice deep breaths into the stretch. And then with the support of your right hand, letting that right leg fall open. Trying to keep both hips down on the mat. So maybe you can put your left hand on your left hip and just remind yourself to keep that down. So you can support that right leg, just getting a nice inner thigh stretch. Maybe roll through that foot. And again, with the help of your hand, you can bring that leg back up. Letting it fall to the left just a little bit. We want both hips to remain on the ground. So it's going to be a slight movement over across your body, but you should feel a nice stretch through the outside of your leg, IT band area. Flexing through that foot. And then bringing that leg to center over your face still. Bring the left foot up to meet the right. Give yourself a nice little stretch here, maybe grabbing your legs with your hands and pulling in. And then let's release the right foot down to the mat. So we're stretching through the left leg, it's extended up. Right leg can stay bent, or you can straighten it out. Let's take 2 more deep breaths into this left leg. And again, using the support of your left hand, letting that left leg fall open. That right hip should stay down on the mat. Flexing that left foot. Breathing deeply. On your next inhale, bring that leg back up. And then letting it cross slightly over your body to the right, but the left hip is staying down. Finding that nice stretch in your outer leg. And bringing that foot back to center over your face. And releasing the foot down to the mat. Okay, we'll just take one more twist. So let's bring our knees over our hips. So our feet are up in the air, tabletop position with the legs. Arms extend out to a T. And we're going to let our legs drop to the right. And our gaze can go out over the left fingertips. One more deep breath. Next inhale, bringing the knees back up through center, and then letting them drop to the left. Gaze goes out to the right. Inhaling the knees back up. Actually, we'll take one more pose. Let's take a happy baby. So reaching up and grabbing the outer edges of your feet. And then the feet are flat, like they're pushing up against the ceiling. And you're pulling down, as if you're trying to pull your knees into your armpits. Let's take 3 rounds of breath. And then gently releasing the feet. Go ahead, bring the feet back down to the mat. And we're going to come into Savasana, whatever that may look like for you. You can have your legs up the wall, maybe flat on the mat. And bring your legs to butterfly, whatever you choose. Coming into your restful pose. Coming back to your natural breath. Taking a moment to release all muscular tension. Let it all fall away. Slowly start to bring some movement back. You're wiggling your toes, your fingers. Eventually bringing some bigger movements into your body. Maybe bringing your knees, giving them a gentle hug. rolling to one side, pausing there, taking a breath. And in your own time, coming back to an easy seat. Bring your hands to heart center. The light in me honors the light in each and every one of you. Together we say, Namaste, Namaste.